Hey everyone, welcome back to another magnificent episode of In the Zone. And today I am bringing you pro wrestler Zack Clayton. Zack, how are you today? I hope all is well.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, it is a pleasure. So, we're just going to kick right off into things. What
Cool.
made you want to become a wrestler?
So, said a lot of times, but you hear the cliche as a little kid, right? You hear about you're watching it on TV, and you think that it's really cool, and you're a big fan, and like most people with sports, like I want to do that, and then it's just something that stuck with me that I've wanted to do. And when I was 19, I started training actually. So I kind of just got right into it. It's something that I felt like I could really do, and I was right. Yeah, it's been really good. It's really fun. It's still what I want to do. I want to do it full time. Working to get there, and just from being a kid and having the vision to do it.
I mean, were there any wrestlers that you grew up watching that you wanted to emulate?
Yeah, Ric Flair. For me, he was like it. Like everything about him was it for me. So uh, just the whole vibe is what I tried to wanted to really be. So I'm not that now, but that's what captured me.
I have to ask because there's a new storyline happening with Ric Flair. Are you following that at all on WWE?
Yeah. I keep in touch with with all. We say the product, but it really means just all of wrestling. Like you have to be a fan. If you're not a fan, then I don't really think you should be in the business. To be honest, I think you have to be a fan of what you do, right? Like being like an athlete, like any other athlete. You have to be a fan of the sport. So yeah, when I was like, we keep in touch with the product, but the product means just the whole wrestling world as a whole. So I do anyway. I like to be in touch with everything so I know what's going on.
What are your thoughts on people that you've come across that are not fans that want to be a wrestler?
I think you should know what you want to get into. So to me, it's like, it's like other athletes. People think you can be famous and be cool and have a lot of money and do cool things. But it's like if you're not a fan, you don't have the passion for it. So you're doing it for the wrong reasons. That's my take on it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So let's boil into your childhood and growing up being a wrestling fan, and then 19 you
Sure.
decide to be a wrestler. What was the process like actually getting into the training aspect of everything?
So I've been an athlete all my life, football and baseball, and ever since I was like 3 or 4, I started playing a little baseball, and then in middle school football and high school football, and then I didn't do it in college because in college um I had thought if I was going to do wrestling, I have to do it now, and I don't want to go start something new and not try wrestling first. Like if I sucked at wrestling, then I can go back to football, which I know I can play and be decent at. But I wanted to try it first, so that's what I did when I was 19.
Mm.
I found a local place in upstate New York just to learn the basics, and then um, new wrestling fan, you might not know the name of Johnny Rods,
I
but
do.
you do. He's a WWF Hall of Famer. He wrestled a lot in the '80s, and he trains in Brooklyn in Gleason's Boxing Gym in Brooklyn, um, where a lot of fighters train. So started going there so I could really learn the craft.
Mm.
And I was 19, 20, 21. Started doing shows like wrestling shows, little independent shows, most of the East Coast, a lot in New York area. That's where I grew up in New York as well. So that's how I broke into it.
I would love to
I,
know your journey in the independent wrestling circuit, how that started off for you.
sure. So well, it's been coming on 7 years actually since I started training and being a wrestler. Started doing shows about 6 months to a year in, which is very early, but I caught on fast to the physical part of it from being an athlete all my life and taking that, by the way, very seriously from a young age. Like I was 12 when I started working out. I mean, that's like whatever grade that is. I don't know, sixth grade or something. And then I really wanted to study it, study the body and study anatomy, physiology. So I ended up going to school for that. But in like high school, I really started uh, learning about the body and really working out really hard so that I knew I could be an athlete with any sport. So when I started wrestling, the physical part came easy to me. And then there's other parts like learning how to do a wrestling match and actually perform, for cameras and in front of a crowd and things like that are a little different. But you learn that through just doing it. So the more you do shows, the more you learn. And the independent scene in New York, there's a lot of guys that run shows that say they're a wrestling league, but they're not really wrestling leagues. So you do a couple of those, because you have to. You wrestle in front of, and I've wrestled. I remember I did a show in Vermont, like all the way up in Vermont, and there was like 6 people there.
Wow.
Like, so you go through a couple of those, right? Because that's just part of the game. So there was like 3 years of like shows kind of like that, not 6 people, but like shows, lower end shows, and then you get into some bigger shows. And then I worked with Johnny in Brooklyn, so that helped me get some bigger shows in Philadelphia, the ECW arena, places like that. So it ended up going pretty well, and now I'm uh, trying to get out there every week on TV is my main goal now.
Yes, yes. And speaking of TV, I mean, I saw you on All Elite Wrestling last year for your debut on Dark, which was amazing.
Right.
And then you had a
Thank
few
you.
more matches on Dark. In fact, you were up against Sunny Kiss. How was that match working with him and preparing for that?
It's great. I mean, we talked like on a personal level more than just like a working relationship, which is awesome. I always appreciate that. I think that's really important. And to get to know me on a personal level like that when nobody has to, like, I really appreciate that.
Mm.
That's important to me. So I try to reciprocate that the best I can. That's always how I am. Like how I am right now is how I am. I don't put on anything for anybody. So whenever I get that back, that means a lot to me.
So
Yeah.
being on TNT and All Elite Wrestling, what is the vibe going from independent circuit to big promotion on television and really bridging the gap between both experiences?
It's a good question. It's great. So the vibe of just the atmosphere of the company is awesome. They do a really good job. It's obviously safe during this time, which is one thing they do very well because there's a lot of people not following proper protocol, and they do that very well. Everyone is tested, and there's a bubble, a secure bubble that we can't go in and out of when we're there, and it's very secure, and they do a great job running that. But everything else, we still don't have fans really. There's I think it's like 10% capacity in the building right now. There's obviously no travel, but we all say the same thing. We just want fans back. We want to wrestle in front of fans again.
Talk to me about wrestling in front of a 10% capacity crowd under the current circumstances in a global pandemic. I mean, what is that even like for you as a wrestler?
We do Dark filmed. It's filmed later than the TV show, so we actually do Dark in front of nobody. There's no fans, so that element is obviously, I might say awkward, but it's different. It's not really awkward. Like there's nothing awkward about it. It's just you go out there and you do moves and you do things in a match that you expect people to like and react to, and then like you do a big move and then there's nothing. Silence, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to the next thing now. So we just have to adapt to it. That's what everyone's going through it like this. Like everyone's got their own thing, whether it's a Zoom meeting or wrestling in front of no people or playing football or baseball in front of no people.
Mm.
It's just part of the game right now for everybody, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get back.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be really jarring to the senses once that happens and we have those crowds? Do you think it's going to feel really odd having dealt with no crowds for such a long while?
I do. I think so. Like the nerves in wrestling, like you still have it because you still want to perform good. But it's not nerves like I hope I don't screw something up in front of people, even though there's no people. You still don't want to screw something up. What I think is going to happen is we're going to get just anxious if we know, I know there's people out there waiting for me to come out. It's just anxious to be around people again. That feeling, you know. I think we all just want that, and I know I will appreciate it much more once it's back
Mm-hmm.
because it's crucial in sports. It's just crucial. It's crucial in everything, but especially when you're there just to perform for people and there's no people.
You're like, so what's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And was there anyone backstage at AEW Dark that you got completely starstruck by, or is it a pretty chill environment for you?
It's a really chill environment. Everyone's friendly. Everyone communicates just in a cool, calm manner. It's very different than other places, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Mhm.
Because then that's the mood. No one's tiptoeing around, and you know what I mean? Because then that doesn't create a good environment. And that's definitely not the case there. It's a very good, chill environment.
Yeah. Is it safe to say that that's your goal? Your ultimate goal is all elite wrestling, or are you looking at other promotions?
I look everywhere, but I would love to be with AEW. Yeah, we know a lot of my girlfriend Jenny is on a charity board as well with the owners, and we're very friendly with them. I would love to be with them, but obviously I'm still a free agent, so I would love to be with AEW. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I'm very curious about this charity board. I did not know it existed, if you don't mind expanding on that.
Yeah, sure. So Jenny's on a charity board. The name is Culture City, and it's a autism awareness charity. I don't know if you knew that Jenny's son Grayson, he has autism.
Mhm.
He's really doing so well. Like we're so proud of him for his progression, especially in the last year or 2 years. He's doing so well. Um, and it's really to raise awareness about autism itself, and it's a really great cause.
Not only are you a pro wrestler, but Jenny had a debut on TNA, which is now known as
Oh yeah,
so I watched, I don't know if I should call it a match. I mean, she kind of dominated it, so I guess I should.
yeah, right.
It was amazing. But just to preface what I'm exactly talking about to those watching, so Jenny Farley, Jersey Shore, JWoww, she had a match against a lookalike Snooki called Cookie, and I thought it was fabulous. And she pretty much killed this girl in the ring
Killed her.
with the beautiful people. So when you saw that match for the first time, what thoughts were going in your head as a pro wrestler?
So funny because like if you bring that up to her now, she gets so embarrassed. Like she's like she can't even watch it, which I get, but it's just so funny. I love it. I think it's so cool. Like I love that she did that, and the little bit of insight on it. I if I'm right, I might not be right. I'm pretty sure I am. She didn't know that she was going to do that.
Oh.
They told her that she was just going to go out there and get like face to face like she did. I don't think she knew that she was going to have to do the whole deal.
She rocked it though.
She rocked it.
I was
Right?
thinking, well, is this did they rehearse this? Is it choreographed? What's going
Right.
on here? It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Wow.
she killed that. That's one of my favorite things she's done.
I'm here for it. That's really
I,
cool.
I want to make her I want her to be my manager ringside.
Oh, I mean, I heard that she doesn't have plans to be a wrestler. However, has she expressed interest in doing the managing thing? I think that would be really cool. I'm here.
I think people need to get behind her for it. For her to
I'm in line for that. So we're gonna make this happen, Zach.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I need your help. I need your help make it happen.
Down. I'm doing it. Don't worry.
Let's do it.
That is so cool. I really like
Yeah.
that. you know, you and Jenny both have experienced fame in two different degrees. So do you guys give each other advice in terms of how to navigate that fame, especially, you know, just being in front of the cameras and being in front of fans?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually. So you probably wouldn't know this, but one of Jenny's biggest things is she hates stage performance.
Hmm.
Like she hates being in front of people isolated. You know what I mean? And I get that. That's a very hard thing. I think you either like it bothers you or it doesn't. I don't think there could be an in between.
Mhm.
So I am the opposite. Like, right? I'm out there in underwear in front of people on a camera. That doesn't bother me at all. And then Jenny, what she does, flip it. She is like in a room like you and I are in, and then there's like 15 cameras like in front of her
Mm.
all the time whenever she's doing the show. So, and then when I go in that setting, I'm like there's a lot going on right here, but the 15 cameras, in the arena in front of all the people with me in underwear doesn't bother me. It's like the closed setting, you know what I mean? So it's the
Yeah.
same thing, but two different settings, and they're
Mhm.
so different. So we each kind of help each other that way, like cope with each setting. Like when you were in school and you had to do like a speech or something, I hated
Mhm.
it. Like
Yes.
that sucked. And I would still hate that today. I would not do it. Like
Oh,
it's just the setting, I guess. Like a
yeah.
closed small room. Yeah, I don't like that.
Oh,
But the other part of it, I don't mind.
so going off of that, how would you feel about doing a promo in the ring though, if it's in front of a crowd versus in front of the camera?
That's good. That's fine. I'd rather be in a ring.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd much rather be in front of people. You know why? Because you can feed off them. Like if there's a dude right here yelling at you, you can go look at him and like talk trash to him. You have interaction. With a camera, it's just cold.
Mm,
It's just you and the camera, and you got really nothing to go off of but your mind. I can do both, but I prefer to be in the ring.
that's fascinating. Speaking of being in the ring, who would you love to go against that you haven't throughout your career yet?
Really good question. Can we do a past
Of
wrestler?
course, this is past, present. If they're not with us, rest in peace. You know, any.
Yeah, I have to say, I have to say Ric Flair. I have to because he's the guy that, for whatever reason, made me want to do it.
Hmm.
And to me, he's the best guy to ever lace up a pair of boots. So I would love to do it against him. Yeah.
What do you tell people who deem wrestling as not a sport? You hear this a lot now.
Yeah. Well, so I say, look, is it in the Olympics? No, it's not. Wrestling is, but not pro wrestling.
Hmm.
We're going to be. That's fine. But it's a sport. What I say is, you can try it, and you can tell me it's not a sport after you try it. They're not going to say that because it truly is. It's a, it's a dance. It's theater. It's acting. It's physicality. Because the things do hurt that we do.
Hmm.
No, we're not trying to kill each other, but accidents happen. People get hurt, and it hurts anyway, even if an accident didn't happen. So to say that it's not a sport, those people are just they don't have knowledge about it enough. I think, and I have no problem dealing with the criticism of it because it doesn't bother me because I know what I do. You know, so criticism about it doesn't bother me.
What are your plans for the rest of the year in terms of your career as a pro wrestler?
I'd love to be on TV every week. That's my main goal. That's my main goal, and hopefully we can have fans back by the end of the year. How things are going. I hope that that's the case for everybody. All of sports, and we can have concerts again, and we can do like things again. Hopefully, everyone hopes that. Um, and that actually plays a big role in our lives, right? We're all. I feel like we're all just kind of like waiting.
Right.
I feel like we're just like waiting for something to happen. I think we just have to make our own things happen. That's how I feel. We just got to keep going and adapting. And at this point in 2021, whatever happens, happens. And we just got to flow with it.
Wise words. I like that. Thank you so much, Zach. This was a fantastic chat with you. I am really glad that we got to do this as I learned more about you as a pro wrestler and as a person. And I really hope that our viewership and readership will gain the same. So thank you so much for coming out and speaking with me.
For sure. Really fun. I appreciate it.
You're
Thank
welcome. And before we leave, if you do not mind running down your social media so that folks can find you, add you, and follow your wonderful burgeoning career.
you. Yeah, sure. At Zack Clayton on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I have a merchandise store as well, the shopzackclayton.com. That's where you can get all my new merchandise.
Yes, you got to plug the merch. You can't.
That's right. You have to, right? You have to.
I hear that. Well, thank you so much again, Zach. This was really fun. And thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more interviews here on In the Zone.
Thank you so much.